Appreciate it. Well, I'm really excited tonight. Our featured reader, who just got here and went where? Oh, disappeared again. Okay, she'll be back, is Naomi Fast. She is the author of Portland Light, Post-Industrial City Poems and Photography. And Christopher and I have had for a long time this ritual of Sunday morning where we read poems to each other, and we have a stack of books. And we're reading Naomi's book to each other at this particular time, and it's really nice. It's really good, and it's fun to look at the photos and to read the poems and then show each other the photos and that kind of thing. So I think you're going to really, really enjoy Naomi's work tonight. So, what else do I need to say? You usually do this part. Do I need to say anything?
What do you want to talk about?
I don't know. Something I should say?
You can tell me about Rob's lip band.
Oh, I can. I could tell. I could do that. Let me grab it.
Poetry on the Moon.
Oh, I could do that too. Oh, wow. There's lots I can do. I don't know, because I don't usually do this part. I kind of come in later and ease in and ease out real quick. So, yeah, that's my way. Rob, stand right up there so everybody can see who you are. Let's give Rob a hand. This is really, really exciting. Rob has put together his first lit mag here called Latitude Number 1. It is wonderful. It has some prose in it. It has a lot of poetry, and it has photos. And we're also reading this as a part of our Sunday ritual. And I'm really honored that Rob has put a couple of our poems in here as well. So we're in good company, I'll tell you. There's some wonderful work in here. Dan Raphael is in here. I know you know Dan. Joshua Baker. Oh, there we are. Ooh, I'm just gonna read our names. And here we are. Here's a list of everybody. Wow. Natasha Snyder, Robert Rahula. Is it Rahula? There's some really good work in here, and I think you will enjoy this if you pick this up. And how much is this?
$5.
This is $5 tonight, and they're hot off the press, and they're here.
Good printing down inside Peter does the cover.
So it's basically you're covering the cost of the printing. Is that basically what you said? Yeah. So support our poets. All right. So we're going to kick this off, and one of the things that I wanted to do to kick this off was to read a poem of mine to start it off, because as I heard people buzzing about earlier when they came in, this is what I was all abuzz about this morning, was Mr. Dylan. Yeah. Honestly, I thought, did I hear that right? That Bob Dylan was given the Nobel Prize for Literature. Yes. And I said, well, of course. That was the first thing I thought. Great poet, songwriter, legacy, probably the amount of work that he's created in his lifetime is absolutely amazing. So I got up this morning and ran down to get coffee, and he always knows everything before I do. I mean, this is always the way, right? He's up earlier, he's tuned in more, he's on the computer, and I said, guess who they gave the Nobel Prize to in literature? And he said, I don't know. Who? And I said, Bobby. They gave it to Bobby Dylan. And he was like, and then of course I cried. He means the world to me, Bob Dylan, actually. So I went back, and this was a poem that I had written about a little over a year ago to try to recollect some of how Bob Dylan came into my life many, many years ago. And so I'd like to share that with you tonight. It's called When Bocce Ball Ruled and I Fell in Love with Dylan. Weekends. My uncles in white undershirts, the phrase wife beaters stuck in my head, grates on my now feminist sensibilities. My cousin Jack playing Dylan on a used guitar makes them my first loves. I mean Jack. And now Bob. Aunties swarm the kitchen, prepare the feast all homemade from scratch, And I'm not sure which ingredient is the one called scratch. I love my uncles, their loud and happy talk, the cursing beyond my mama's ears. Jack sings, "I ain't gonna work on Maggie's farm no more," and I am so ready to go wherever the song leads us. I get the uncles another beer, some olives and cheese on this orange grove day in Riverside, California. The lawn hosts thick St. Augustine grass, the blades trimmed short so you can find the white Polina. We watch the bocce balls glide and float. During our first year, Uncle Johnny taught me to whistle with a blade between my lips. I was 6 then, grown up at 12 now. Dad lights a Chesterfield unfiltered, pats my head as Jack sings, "Well, I see you got your brand new leopard skin pillbox hat." Well, you must tell me, baby, how your head feels under something like that, under your brand new. It's the day before the 4th of July. Tomorrow we will caravan to Ontario for the All-States Picnic Parade. The street is divided there with a grassy wide median strip down the middle. The best seats in the house, Uncle Johnny says. We'll find the New Yorkers and have to share tables with Jersey. My uncles snort and roar. They'll be kings tomorrow while slapping the Jersey boys' thick backs. We've been west 6 years now. Mom says the sunshine doesn't make up for missing family. So Jack sings, "She's got everything she needs. She's an artist. She don't look back. She can take the dark out of the nighttime and paint the daytime black." Dad loves SoCal. He's tan, hair dyed black, wears shorts, and takes up golf. This is a galaxy away from the streets of Oneida, New York, from the wrong side of the tracks, a small Italian boy shoveling snow for a nickel. Today I watch my uncles play bocce ball, swap stories, and feel rich, California rich. They say it's an hour's drive to the shore. They call it the beach or the coast, I remind them, feeling older than my 12 years. The aunties buzz outside, ready to feast. More laughter and many more stories. My uncles gorge, then they nap. I ride my bike around the block 6 times, one for every year I've spent this far from New York. Then sit on the St. Augustine while Jack nods and sings, "Johnny's in the basement mixing up the medicine. I'm on the pavement thinking about the government. The man in the trench coat, badge out, laid off, says he's got a bad cough, wants to get it paid off. Look out, kid. It's something you did. God knows when, but you're doing it again. You better duck down the alleyway, looking for a new friend. The man in the coonskin cap and the big pen wants $11 bills, and you only got 10. We both crack up. Jack has educated me on Dylan. I can whistle with a blade of grass. The uncles let me win at bocce. I can ride my bike around the block by myself. It's a beautiful day in Orange Grove, Riverside. And the one sure thing I know is that I'm already all grown up.
Yeah!
Thank you. And now we're going to hear from Tiffany Burba. Come on up, Tiff.
A lot less pressure this month not being the feature, so I can relax. So I have a few poems. The first one I'm going to read, since Mike G shared a few months ago about how someone wanted to procreate with him. We had this in common, and so we thought this was kind of funny. My poem's a little bit more serious, but it's also about somebody wanting me to have a child at almost 44 years old. It's called Dream Killer. You almost grabbed me this time in the broad of daylight, while my mind was too busy to think, too preoccupied to weigh the consequences of my choices. I bought into the dream, your dream of the life you wanted with me, left mine somewhere between here and there, wherever that was at the time. I tried to make it happen, Talked to the doctors to see if it was even possible. Fertility appointments scheduled. My curiosity leads me to research all the potential for complications. The universe gave me the answer that I was so desperately seeking. My doctor confirmed you could die if you try to have a child. There are other options like surrogates, use your eggs, use someone else's eggs. At that moment, I was floating above my body, watching as I saw tears well in my eyes, watched as one by one they fell, and continued to slide down my cheek. I told you, you said the same thing. We can get a surrogate, there are options. It just has to be your egg and my sperm. It just has to be ours. I was silent. I knew in that moment the thought of another woman carrying our child was not something I could entertain. I couldn't even envision all the emotions I would feel. You didn't hear me, so I waited until I had your attention. I can't have a child with you. I can't entertain another woman carrying our child. It would never feel like mine. The bond would never be there. I couldn't see my face in that child. You said yes, you would. I said no. There's nothing that would make it feel like mine. I heard the dream escape from his voice, the carbon depleting his breath. I was holding the straw.
Yeah.
So this poem is based on Walking Around by Pablo Neruda. It's just a project that I've been working on. So what we do is we just read the poem and then we write from our inspiration. So it just so happens I'm tired of being a mother, a wife, a woman, having to walk around in high heels, to shake hands with men that think I'm dumb, to have to be put together when yoga pants better suit my needs. The odor from the nail salon burns my nose, Chinese chatter as they scrape dead skin from my worn feet, the smell of acrylic and nails longer than 3 inches past the tips. I am tired from eating, exhausted from not eating, lose 5, gain 10, and all from varying fluctuations in hormones. Too many curves, not curvy enough, my ass too large, my ass too fine, my ass is tired too. Grown tired of the stares, the comments, the stretch of fabric. I walk on stilts to maintain balance, low to the ground, I feel small and insignificant. High above the air, the average breeze, I feel most able to draw breath that is clear. I'm tired of being me, tired of trying to rediscover, transform, be better, be less than, more than, or somewhere in between. Tired and weary I am, sad and happy as the bumpy road I travel. Contentment and settlement are just rest stops on my journey. In the end, I just want to be covered in laughter, surrounded by lilies and sunflowers, Buddhas smoking incense. In the end, tired will be a fleeting thought as I float in water filled with salt.
Yeah.
And this last one is called Subliminal, and it's basically about my mom. Wake a night's dream, one that does not end in tears, but of Estee Lauder perfume. My mother's around me, cutting daisies along a mountain road as ants of red crawl on me without biting. She followed me here to this new place where she has never set foot, never laid her head to sleep. She found me in the sunflowers standing in tall vases, in summer sun kissing my skin, and my laughter sitting on the surface of almost consumed whiskey bottles. I see her now in Sophia's stubbornness, in Lily's blue eyes, in my wrinkles and age-spot hands. The nighttime whispers her words. She still sings me to sleep with words that reassures me it will all be okay. Even in her death, her voice fills the empty space in my mind, and life that echoes in shells along a sandy beach. Sleep in a daydream, wake as night forgets her unfulfilled dreams. Thank you.
Thank you, Tiffany. Next, we're going to hear from Karen Reed. Karen, yay.
I'm also kind of starting with a baby poem, but it's a very different baby poem. And it's by my dear friend, Livia Montana, who couldn't be here. Yay, Livia! She couldn't be here, but she let me read her poem called Life's Little Nursery Rhymes. And it starts with a note, and the note is about fetus in fetu. Has anyone heard of this thing?
Sounds awesome.
It's real. You can look it up. Fetus in fetu. A condition in which two identical twins develop in the womb, but one gets absorbed into the other twin's body. The absorbed fetus may latch onto the blood supply of the normally developing fetus. Happy Halloween. Costume. It's kind of serious. That child was born with a twin inside him because life is parasitic, though we long not to admit it. This child was eaten, will forevermore be half-formed. Let's say his heart's not in it, and he'll never feel a thing. That child will always feel something, and then something quite different entirely. His mind will stake its claim, but his cells will know they're not alone. This child will be called parasite, even though it's not his choice to be entwined. Isn't it always the victor that gets to name the lesser tribe? That child will grow into a man whose swollen body will be cut open to reveal astonishment. The surgeon won't stop recounting how he could shake hands with the being inside. And who is it who leaves the twin's body 40 years after he might have been the sun, his nails longer than his limbs from trying to hold to the bond that nature formed? And who is it who goes home not knowing how to feel when we whisper about him? It was supposed to be surgery for a tumor, but a man wound up birthing what never had a chance. Who is the brother left to wonder about the emptiness he can now finally feel inside, and how to choose a name for it, this act of belatedly becoming one? Isn't that great? That's Life's Little Nursery Rhymes by Livia Montana. Wow. Wow. I know. Wow. So a few days after Halloween, but before the election, something else happens on Sunday, November 6th. Does anybody know what it is?
The end of daylight saving.
Exactly. The end of, we go from...
Darn.
Exactly. So I wrote a poem called How to Get Up in the Morning. It's going to be dark. It's going to be dark then. This is not that dark. In the morning, remember, insects do not sleep. They may become more or less active depending on daylight or darkness. Reptiles sleep, but do not dream. Birds dream only a little. They've measured the brain waves, impulses of varying tempos, alpha, beta, theta, delta. Extra forcible mind control, brainwave control, does not work. You must activate the senses. Smelling salts, a glass of water, spinning around. Flood your brain with hormones. Flood your brain with light.
Thank you, Karen. Rob Gorley. Rob, come on down. Or come on up.
Good evening. The rain isn't too bad.
We like it.
Oh, they call it love, but I don't know. Do you think it's what makes us want to hurt each other so? I'd like to turn my back, but I ain't got no damn where to go. They call it love, but I don't know. Betty Levette, 2007. Okay, I was lucky enough to write a poem in September. Drift boats on the Klickitat. This is a hastening tributary. It's not the wider river with headwaters gathered in the Rockies, which divulges its volume beyond Astoria. During these weeks around fall equinox, fishermen wait their turn above choice stretches. Not holes exactly, but congregational spots where fish rest after exerting themselves up through some rapids. One drift boat leaves, the next enters the run. With the drag set, the oarsman rows gently upstream, prolonging the opportunity to set a hook. It's not unexpected, merely the gist of drift boat tradition. Loud discourse disrupts the serenity. Sometimes I fear the lines out exceed the fish. Yet we all relish the urgent river, how the light changes its surface, its glacial chill, the wary mergansers, its slalom course past the canyon side hills, salmon returning from the Pacific. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Rob. I guess I don't know how to operate this.
You unscrew it and then screw it back after you turn.
I'll go like that now.
Now that work tip also.
This shouldn't be so hard, but I know that your neck's coming up, so I'm trying to do this so you don't have to stand up here. Sabra Larson, come on up.
I realized that all three poems that I wanted to read are all starting with a question, and kind of reflects the season that we're all in the midst of. So the first one, what will bring back the joy? Fragments of wonder and clues of gladness glitter into view, flirting, frolicking, merriment calling out, here I am, follow me. Bits of felicity and fluttering leaves of exaltation shimmer in a delightful garden, hidden in the luxurious weave, lingering upon gleeful air. Colors bright and lively, empty pages calling to be ravished, tasty, refreshing recipes needing to be devoured, and the search for deep solace of the soul continues. Sew them all together, build an altar, cook the meal, prepare the damage, for perhaps it will walk again or fly. This languishing mind has been shattered more than once. What to ignore, who to believe, where to seek, when to quit. Be still. There is no home for woe or sorrow. Joy will find you, for you are the treasure that rapture seeks. And moving into the political, is it revolutionary to embrace grief? Is it deviant to move closer to pain? Is it morbid to ponder one's own death? Is it scandalous to be non-compliant? Is it treason to admit to anxiety that afflicts us all? Is it deformity to embrace your sexual fire burning constantly? Is it betrayal to cry out in the street that parents lie to their children in big and small ways? That love is a great and painful beast that we must feed? That work is hard and sometimes boring, but must be done? That money truly does not buy happiness, but without it, you're labeled a failure? That we have lost our value in a society that does not value a life well lived? That we will die and be dead for a very long time? That we long and fear connection with each other in equal measures? That being pleasant leaves much to be desired? That the only reason I wish to help is so that I may have my own needs met? The revolution will be a song of silence, a circle of empty hands, a thorny dance of shadows. Nothing needs to be other than the being. I am, and I am the space in between. You are, and we will touch. This is the only reason ever for revolution. And this I dedicate to Hillary. What will it take? What will it take to find the strength to commit to a direction that follows the heart's desire, to live fully and explore one's talents that remain half buried under low expectations and broken promises, made with a mind that was full of ideas, taking flight, but leaving the dreamer behind as you got lost in avoiding the old pain and covering your ears so you don't hear the mocking laughter of a gallery of harsh voices and profound doubts about whether you have the resources to cross the great water, or the courage to struggle with continuous mistakes, or a sense of direction so as not to be lost in the maze of contradictions and demands for attention, stumbling over generations of poor losers and inherited shortcomings, facing the lack of external support, as well as the implicit barriers to keep you from in your prescribed place, so as not to upset some balance of power as you reach for that thing that calls to you above the din of angry warnings, where there is really nothing left to lose, and you suddenly take the step that can never be taken back, and the momentum of your true nature follows the freedom of creative hopelessness, where there is no other direction but that which is right in front of you, and there is no other choice but the very next step.
Thanks, Summer. So a couple of things about this. We can just unscrew it here, screw it back in again. You can also unscrew here and then have it go up and down. That's his favorite. And I want to thank Scott Yeagers here tonight for bringing this. Toni had a dream about one of these. This is the kind of microphone stand she wanted, and then it appeared, so we thank him for that. This is also an opportunity to thank Briz Lonan Guitar, who provided the microphone and the speaker that we've been using for a long time. Yeah, and that gives me a segue to let you know that there are going to be 18 bands Friday and Saturday night at the Kiggins Theater right next door. It's called Coup Fest, and it's completely free. I believe it starts at 5 o'clock tomorrow and 1 o'clock on Saturday. And I was confirmed yesterday that I'm going to read a poem with Lincoln's Beard tomorrow night. Their set is from 9 to 10. It's also an album release. So if you like Lincoln's Beard or you want to hear another poem, stop by. It's not going to cost you anything except however much it costs you to get a big tub of popcorn, right, to support the Kiggins. So, and anyway, Coup Fest has been going on for a long time, and it's great. And I think the reason they started Coup Fest was that there was a festival, and I don't even remember what it was called anymore, that was sort of calling itself a Vancouver music festival, and all the bands were from Portland or wherever else they were. There was like no Vancouver bands in it. So some of the people here who know about how many great musicians there are here said, we have to fix this, so Coup Fest was born, and it's always fun. It's always a good show to check out. The other thing I wanted to let you know about is that it's Niche's 6th anniversary, and they're going to celebrate on Sunday. This is the cool logo for the event, with Italian wine and Italian films, also at the Kiggins Theater. So this is something where you need to get a ticket, and they would like you to buy a ticket ahead of time. If you don't have one, you can show up that day, but they have a certain amount of tickets. So if they run out, and you get a if you get a ticket, you get a commemorative glass for the event as well. So come into Niche to get your glass and all that, and then go next door for the Italian films. So I hope that people will support Niche by coming out for that, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
What day?
That's Sunday Sunday evening, 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock Sunday.
And the show, the art show, can you say what that is called?
I will get some information about the show. This is a show that was sponsored by Slow Food Southwest Washington. There's information about them around, and there's going to be connected with this show a food photography class that will happen in the bar. So you might ask the folks at the bar about when that's going to happen. It's going to happen on Tuesday nights, but later in the month. So, okay. All right. So back to the show. Next we are going to hear from Bob Sunshine. So please welcome Bob Sunshine up to the mic.
What sort of a man is this, rising from fetid abyss, dripping blood from every pore? Not from this world, what a bore. King Henry had many wives, every one gave him the hive. After all was said and done, stacked up high, they weighed a ton. Oak begins to fade away. Life is lost on such a day. Delves within my solitude. Creeps upon my bone for food. Marble lady never cries. Every curve engraved with lies. Skin is white as fallen snow. Suffer, Michelangelo. Raindrops outside fall 10,000 feet, mimicking the human beat. Slaves to kings, they all have strength. Roly-poly shows its length. You better believe it. Pyramids, 2 million stones. The Great Wall develops crones. Sand and flesh dissolve in time. Mom and Dad will never rhyme. Seconds! That's right, seconds add so very still. Gratitude, she downs the pill. Daughter, or maybe a son. Death toll act 1001. Chastity belt. Underdress, tempting man to be his best. Guillotine in the trapdoor, cutting off 2 inches more. 10 commandments, human laws, golden calf with open jaws, tablets broken at first glance. Man deserves a second chance. You better believe he does. If all goes well, surgeon spoke, phenomenon we call hope. Cross whatever shape you want. Ask God, please move me up front. Tick-tock, tick-tock, tick, time talk. Cuckoo, cuckoo, 2 o'clock. Tick, 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 metronome. Dong, 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 Big Ben syndrome. And the last one. Hold your seats tight for this one. I got a name for it. It's called Poem Purrs. Oh, you better believe it. Poem per soldier. Battle won. Poem for thread. A carpet spun. Poem per drop. A storm appears. Poem per leaf. Elephant ears. Poem per animal. Ark full. Poem per poet. Paper pull. Thank you, Christopher. Have a good night.
Thanks, Bob. And next we're going to hear from Jim Martin. Come on up, Jim. I don't know where he's at. He's out there somewhere.
Hope I don't open this and see if this is my PUD bill. I have 2. Yes. This part. Okay, I'm strapped in. The catapult is steaming. They're waving the flag. Okay, so I said I had 2. Let's see. Okay. The first is titled Release My Soul. I can now say these words. I see the beauty which was obscured by bias, prejudice, dogmatic belief, fear of the unknown. Mists of indoctrination slowly dissipate, reveal a world as it is. So clear now, though the vapors may rise again. Memory of a small piece of the human landscape, revealed by an unfamiliar angle of sunlight. An ancient thought encrypted within spoken words. Blood upon the ground, spilled in anger, seen. Mists, small clouds, rise, then dissipate, lost to the eye, but not the memory. Mist rises, leaves the blood, wafts toward the heavens, disappears. Ponder that. A being within my body lives there while I live, leaves when I die. Do I, within me, house a soul or a consequence of human imagination? And this one is a poem in search of itself, and I can't remember if I've ever read this before. This is the poem. Rational, I think on facts I observe and ascertain. Intuitive, I feel in my heart's dance with life. Meditative, I am, we are. This is the lecture. A universe of unity, all sharing, becoming. I am, inner light moves me, moves all, aware, I am.
So the cavalcade of big-ass beautiful beards continues with our next reader. Next we're going to have Bruce Hall, and Bruce Hall will be the last open mic reader before we call up our featured reader. So please say hello to Bruce Hall.
I've got 3 tonight. Don't really have a name for this one yet. Shivering hands on coat collar, pulling it around my neck. On the snap, blue fingers, pressing, pressing, pressing. Click, the warm stays in. Hand stuffed deep in pockets. To not hold your hand, pains, breaking an already broken heart. On the street, blank faces I don't know, cursing my name. On the neon sign, flashing red, flashing blue, flashing green. Repent, sinners, rejoice within. On the other side of the street, slurred laughter. Doubters pass a brown paper bag. Long ago, with the strength of Schwarzenegger, you pulled me from that crowd. Tonight, hiding in the gloom down the alley, the owl calls your name 3 times, confirming you are gone. And I've called this one In Heaven. Look at your jewels while you are alive. There are no shiny rocks in heaven. Diamonds are dull compared to the dust under the soles of the sandals of the angels. Sapphires have the flame of a shadow under a rock compared to the eternal flame in heaven. Rubies, oh no, the angel's hair, a brilliant red hue, holding halos in heaven. Pearls have no glow compared to the bubbles the children blow in heaven. If your shiny rocks, your bling, are so important to you that you cannot give them up, go to hell. There are no shiny rocks in heaven. And this last one is, what's the meaning of life? The truth is, life has limits, obscuring any hope of finding the meaning. Life limits you because you are an infant, cannot talk, walk, or care for yourself. Life limits you because you are small in a big world of assholes at eye level. Life limits you because you are big as most, but your mind, hormones, rage, dubious control. Life limits you because you had to make hard choices, poor choices, or the man made your choices for you. Life limits you because you gain wisdom, have rock-solid beliefs, and your body gives up. With all the limits life gives you, how can you ask if there is a meaning to life? I thought that, but I was wrong. In downtown Portland, where they package crack, put bacon on it, and call it weird. There was the truth. Your favorite question, painted in big black letters on a plywood construction barrier. What is the meaning of life? Below the question, painted in blue, the 2-word answer. So simple, so easy, so true. What is the meaning of life? Cash flow.